Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of 25 to 1, where I chronicle the journey of taking my e-com business from $25,000 a year in revenue to 1 million. So today is November 1st. One of the things I had mentioned in the last video was that I thought it would be a good idea to regularly expose my viewers, my YouTube channel, to my metrics, to my actual earnings on some sort of cadence, maybe week to week, but at the very, very least, month to month. With today being November 1st, I figured it'd be a good time to take a look back at how we did in October and compare that to previous months. I mentioned in my last video that September wasn't a great month because my ads were shut off for 2 weeks, so the revenue was extremely low. So I'll be comparing to August and July, looking at some things that changed and some numbers that improved and some numbers that I want to improve in the future moving forward. Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, welcome to my Shopify store. First thing I want to do is show you guys my September numbers. I keep saying September numbers were not good, and that's because they weren't. But I want you to see what I mean when I say that. So total sales for September were 2,500. Go ahead and take a look at August. So here you can see that the August numbers were at $4,600 in total sales. July will be slightly lower. $4,400 in sales. This goes to show, first of all, what an anomaly September was, but what I usually make on most months. Since I've owned the store, we've been growing incrementally. And so July at 4,400, then August at 4,600, and then, of course, the bad month of September came, which is part of what made me decide to start this YouTube channel, was just realizing what a mistake it was to rely on Facebook ads as the sole source of my ad stream. That is why I diversified. And also in September, one of the other problems that I had in September was that I also tried Google ads, which were just insanely expensive. I mentioned this before. And I spent almost $1,000 on Google ads, and they did not bring a single conversion. So that's how disappointing it was. I highly advise against using Google ads unless you know exactly what you're doing or you hire someone who knows exactly what they're doing to set up your ads. It's much more complicated than Facebook ads and TikTok ads, which is what I went with. But I'm also looking to explore Pinterest as well as Reddit ads. I think that does seem promising as well. Anyway, so now let's get into October. So almost $8,000 in total sales. This is pretty cool for me. It's pretty validating because this is exactly what I was hoping to accomplish when I started this YouTube video. For the past 8 months, 7 months at the time that I started this, I had realized that I wanted to make some very decisive and very conscious decisions around what I did with my store. And I wanted to 10, 20x it. So one of the things that I decided in October was I was going to, running ads all the time was going to be very expensive, but I decided I was going to go ahead and pay that. Again, I don't want to pat myself on the back too much because I know a big part of this, there's sort of three factors that kind of play into a big part of this. One is, yes, I did do a lot of things to change my store that helped me
get to this point. But that's not the only thing that happened. The other thing that happened is that my store is about baseball. And October is the postseason. There's playoffs and there's a championship games. There's a World Series. So it's it's just kind of par for the course. Like this is the season. And then the third thing is that it's not just a season for baseball, but it's also the third quarter of any retail industry, right? So we're getting into all of that. So all of those compounded to nearly double my sales since the summer, since what I typically do. So for as much as I'd love to understand how much of what I did played into this, the numbers are kind of hard to tease out at the moment. So that's where this is today. One of the things that I had mentioned in previous videos, comparing something week to week, let's take a look at the first week of October, the 1st through the 8th. One of the things that I had been worried about, and one of the things that I had mentioned in my videos, was that the conversion rate was pretty low. 0.87 is pretty terrible. What I've come to understand listening to videos and unfortunately watching ads of people trying to sell me things is that the ideal or kind of expected conversion rate, the optimal conversion rate, is between 3 to 4%. So this falls significantly lower than that. However, after I had seen so many things and doing so much research and how real these ads or these vendors try to tell you these numbers are that you need to get to, this seemed legit. I did need to get to 3 to 4%. I'm still a ways away from it, but I did take measures to try to improve that through the month of October. So if we look, this is the first week of October. If we look at the last week of October, from 0.89 to 1.28. So I had a coupon code that I had put out. I had put out a post about it. I did some work on the ads. Nothing super concrete that I can say this is exactly what led to this increase, but I'm happy with the increase. And again, I don't know how much of what I did plays into it, given that we're in the third quarter, but I am happy that the conversion rate went up. So I do want to do more work on getting that number. If I can get a conversion rate to 2.5 to the lower end of that ideal spectrum, I'm still going to be super happy with that. It's going to take work, and I'm not quite sure. That essentially means doubling what I have right now. When my progress in October, putting all my mental energy into getting even to this point, got me an incremental increase. To double that incremental increase is going to take a lot of work. So that's where things are at the moment. We will see what November brings. But yeah, I'm curious to know what else you guys want to see. I'm happy to dig into any of these numbers. I wanted to, more than anything, establish a baseline of things like my sales for month to month. In the new year, of course, this is all going to drop, and of my conversion rate. Those are the two metrics that I'm targeting at the moment. There's going to be a lot more detail as I get more experienced in how to be detail oriented about the business that I'll dig into later. But for now, this is something that I plan on doing every month, of course, regardless of the season. So I will again show you this at least at the maximum, the end of November, beginning of December, but probably something in between if there's something noteworthy to show. Again, what I'm hoping to show is that over time, even though there are peaks and valleys, that there's a general increase in my store traffic and that you guys can see the numbers on a month to month basis that grow from this 2,962 number to 29,620. But fingers crossed, with a lot of hard work, hopefully we're lucky enough to get there.
Well, folks, that's going to do it for this week. For this upcoming week, I have three goals. One of them is to implement at least two email flows. I know those are important. I know that they're also pretty complicated. So we'll see how that goes. I have a draft of one in the works right now. There's a lot of logic that I didn't realize you had to put into creating a flow. So we'll see how that goes. I want to do at least a welcome email flow for subscribers to the newsletter, and then a post purchase flow, which the post purchase flow I believe is going to be pretty complex. The other thing I want to do is I spent a lot of the past few days just going out and taking pictures of koozies in different fall locations. So I'm hoping that I can take advantage of the season, and so my goal will be to have at least two new ad creatives made. And then my third goal is to get a wish list going. And I'm not sure if that's the right thing I want yet. My problem is that I keep running out of inventory. People keep asking me, where are you going to get this back in stock? Where are you going to get this back in stock? And it's hard because one week everyone's crazy about the Braves. The next week they're all crazy about the Reds. And it's very hard for me to predict and to have enough of each stock on hand. So, what I'd love is for someone to see an item, to be able to add that item to some sort of wish list, or something that they can say that they want as an automatic indicator to me of how many people are looking for something that we might currently be out of stock of. The semi convenient thing about how my store runs is that I can get additional items pretty quickly. The problem is that to have enough of everything is financially untenable. So I have to get maybe 20 things at a time. And I don't know if those 20 things are going to sit there for 3 months or if they're going to go in 1 week. So I need to find a way to automate the indicators for me of what people are interested in. So a wish list might be one way, but again, growing pains of how to make sure that I can maintain and do my best to stay on top of my inventory is going to be a longer term problem. But for now, I think wish list is what I want to do. So we'll see if I can get those three things done. And at the end of the week, we'll come back and see how we're doing. Oh, there was one more thing. As I've been managing my creative, my ad strategy, my product, I've sort of come to this idea of in my head in the practice of managing my ecom business that there's a circular cyclical cycle of events that I'm going through to iteratively improve on what I'm doing at that time. And I'm creating this idea, this mental model in my head that I'm calling, for at least for now, the small business ecom flywheel. I sketched out something. I want to toss it out there. I want to formalize it a little bit to see if there's a way to visualize that in a way that's consumable, that makes sense, and that is at least accurate to a degree that's applicable for my size business and businesses of my size. So we'll see. We'll see how the ecom flywheel comes together, and it's consuming a lot of my thought processes. So I'll be excited to show that to you guys.